This is the intro screen for Descript. They have a software and then it's also online where they have the web-based version. And so this is just like the home. So you can edit a video, clean up some audio. They have a nice studio feature that you can clean up the audio similar to Adobe Podcast, but just inside of their software. You can make a podcast, add captions, create social clips. So they really transform the front page to show you what you can do. These are some of the projects that I have inside of it. They have an AI video maker you can create with AI speakers. This is new and I played around with it a little bit. So let me see if I can find the project that I did already. It was just a test project. I tried it. Oh, there it is. So they create like not necessarily lifelike, but images like this that can speak, but the way that the mouth and everything moves and kind of like the gestures are really cool. So I wanted to try to make a custom one, but I uploaded a quick transcript and then utilize one of their voices and pictures that they had.
Everyone says creating content is easy when you're a coach. Lies. It's not writing. It's not filming.
So all of the human-like mannerisms is what I'm actually very impressed with, like from the head movement and the way that the lips moving. So it's like we know that it's not real, but it's a nice way to create pattern interrupts for stuff like that. I'm enjoying that. I'm gonna work with another type of avatar to create a couple other test samples. One of the things I enjoy the most about Descript is the fact that it has text-based editing. So the fact that you can come in here and highlight and delete, and it deletes it from the video, which is the timeline down here, just saves a lot of time and can create opportunities for you to fly through and edit. They also have their own AI incorporated called Underlord, and you can edit for clarity. I still like to review my stuff to make sure that it sounds like natural. A studio sound that we were discussing before, I'm sure I have a raw video somewhere. Then it will help cut all of the ums and ahs. All right, so if I were to take this, anywhere I had a bunch of ums and ahs, we can use the underlord to remove the filler words. If I were shooting content, you can remove the retakes, shorten word gaps, or anything that was like super long. It would just shorten the word gap so it gets you back to some editable content faster than if you were just to edit it in a normal platform. You can add chapters, eye contact. So I have a teleprompter here, which is very helpful, but let's just say I needed to utilize my notebook and read off my paper. Descript can refocus my eyes to look straight, even though I'm reading here forward, as if I were actually speaking to it. So I've used that before in the past. It doesn't look bad. The green screen feature I've tried, it wasn't the greatest when I used it before, but I can always try it again. I'm generating an image. There's a lot of places that are using that now. So if it's trash, go to different ones. And I've been able to generate a few different images from ChatGPT. Adobe has their own version of Firefly or something like that. Then there's Midjourney, all those different things. Blur speaker background. But yeah, so if I take this and I just say create clips, it would find various clips. I can clip it, say I want 5 of them, add 15 seconds, click like custom layout, and submit it. It does a decent job, but I still feel like AI helps get you at least half there. But it's up to us to make sure it still makes sense. So I still have a good amount of human touch on the stuff that gets produced for myself and clients because sometimes AI just pulls stuff out of the air and it doesn't always hit the way that you want it to. It's just a lot of other things that can help when it comes to utilizing AI to make it go faster. The most helpful thing here is text-based editing. Whether I'm highlighting this and saying I want to turn this into a different clip that I duplicate to a new composition, that will kind of be up here. These are various clips that I've created. I can turn this clip here into a portrait, change the size and everything like that, the various layers, make it bigger, and also things that I can do is add things like captions and stock. So if I wanted to add captions, they have a template of different things that are just captions. I think people just have to read when they're doing stuff. Descript literally can add the captions right on here. You can customize it with colors. It doesn't do a whole bunch of movement stuff, but it works for me just to get something out quickly. And then the other reason I like Descript so much, or another, not the other, is you can literally add video, GIFs, images, and audio all within one program. So if you use things like Final Cut, Adobe, even DaVinci, a lot of times you have to go grab assets from outside of it, have it organized, and then bring it into your editing software. Now, this has options. I'm not saying that's always the best options, but it's a starting point. And one of the things that is very helpful is at least you can get an idea for what you want. So even if I were just to take this here and maybe I didn't want the captions or maybe I wanted to use something else, one of the cool things is that I can export this in a number of different ways. If I was happy with it, I could just export it. You see all these different places I can export it as a link and just send it to people to view online. I can download it as an actual post. I haven't done any of these right here, but it's cool that they have it. But you can download just the audio. You can make a GIF from it. You can download the timeline. This is the cool part right here. I can download it as a Final Cut or DaVinci Resolve project. And if I add any stock footage from inside of Descript in it, it will also download all of that. And I would have the project already cut up. So imagine if I go to the actual video here and I told it cut out all the ums or I just want this particular part and I chopped up this whole video and I download the timeline and take it into my editor. All those cuts are already there. So that's why a lot of my projects nowadays have started in Descript. And if I need to make additional edits or things that Descript kind of doesn't have, at least I don't have to scrub. I can just read, delete whatever. A lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now doesn't require a ton of different things that I can't add in this one. Descript.
Thank you so much for going over this. I started using Descript because you recommended it online. And an issue that I was having was trying to get to my video layers. Sometimes when I would have it create a highlight, it wouldn't let me actually change or like modify the size, the ratio of the video.
Okay.
And, I've been playing around with it. So the fact that I can actually transfer it over to Final Cut is amazing. My question is, will I get the layers as well in my timeline when it transfers over to the other editing software?
Now, when you're saying layers, like as in you added audio
Yep.
or video or stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So like, can I the audio layer, the caption layer, and the video layers that I can like modify individually?
I do not believe that the captions transfer over. That's the sucky part
Okay.
about it. But all of the actual stock images and audio should be a part of XML file that they
Okay.
so the XML file should have it in a folder in your computer or on your hard drive, and it should take all of that stuff and put it in that folder and communicate with the project to say, I want all of this chopped up and here are the things. Now it might be the video could possibly be a little bit misplaced, but it
Okay.
should incorporate everything and put it on your timeline if I'm not mistaken.
Within Descript, how do you go about being able to manipulate your video? Because oftentimes I can't find that. Like when I click on where you are within your timeline, I can move around the audio, but if I try to actually do something with the video, like cut it up or resize it.
So here we go.
Thank you.
The main manipulations for the video is going to be right here in layers. Okay. So layers will allow you to control the audio right here, the speed, the opacity of the actual video, the position of it. You can control the width. This is one thing that I use a lot, especially when it comes to the caption, but the width and the height as well. If you don't want it to, this keeps everything kind of conformed. If you don't want it to control it, you unclick this and it will control just the height, not the width. So it won't manipulate. So yeah, this will unlock it. So this right here with the little dash means that it is closed. It is linked together. When it is you can kind of modify it as you want to. You have the rotation, and you can round corners with this one right here. There's
Wow.
borders, audio effects. So in terms of controlling the shape and size, this here is one, and the other one is this one right here. That one right there.
Okay.
You click this, you can change it to landscape, to portrait. That's what I was on.
Hmm.
Square, right?
Was this video originally horizontal?
Correct. So this is
Okay,
just,
I
so
got
what I did was I took an interview that I did. So this
Mhm.
is the original interview.
you.
So here's the workflow, right? The workflow is I take whatever I do, I throw it into this program, I let it transcribe it. Typically, I like to review my own stuff. AI stuff is when I'm in a pinch, but if I'm good and I want to just see whatever, I might just see what I'm saying, and I can also read it. That's why I love it so much. So I can just like, okay, I like this paragraph, and I can highlight it. I typically highlight it so I can have my own idea of what I'm doing. And then what I do is I will right click, and then I will duplicate to a new composition. So this is saying, hey, I like what I said right here because I can read it or whatever. So if I just want to take snippets from this thing here, if I wanted to edit the whole thing, that's a whole nother process, right? Down to where I just duplicated it to a new one. So this is the new project. I want this for social media. So I don't want it landscape. I want it imported for social media. Now I have it like this. What I do is I can either scale it up by just pulling those edges down, or same thing here, using that width and controlling the width and getting it to the size that I want. I haven't found this a hack to make it full screen. But either way, you stretch it out the way that you want to. Now, after I have this here, another thing that I check, because sometimes it will have quality issues. So I press other, and I just make sure that so I recorded this in 4K. So it gave it to me in 4K. But let's just say you did it in 1080p and the resolution wasn't that great. Just check the settings here to make sure you have it at whatever you want. So we're going to download in 1080, but I have 4K. So if anything's looking a little grainy, check the actual size. So after this, I'm trying to simplify the whole process. I'm saying, okay, cool. I like this. If I didn't want this here, highlight it, boom, delete it. It's fine. If something is spelled incorrectly, the shortcut is C, and you'll see that little pen icon. Press C, I press the word, and then I can change the word here and correct it. If it's something that's reoccurring, like a name, you can correct all of them. So if everything looks fine, then I go to captions and I choose a caption that I like. Now here's for captions, you can go to layers. Everything has its own layer. And for layers for this one, I choose the text. You can choose all caps or a mixture. I use all caps because it helps me not have to do so much grammar stuff. You can either upload, you can request or download different type of fonts inside of here as well. And then to customize it further, press this here. You can change the fill, you can change the type, you can do the karaoke where it kind of follows, have it as classic and it's just clean. You can incorporate a background, change the active word, things of that nature. So after we have this, so there's scenes in Descript. This is why sometimes it can be a little confusing for tradition. So let's just say I see this and I say I teach Spanish and I want to make a new scene so I can incorporate some B-roll. I teach Spanish, and then I'm going to find a video that says something about Spanish. So I'm going to go to stock. I'm going to put Spanish, right? I'm just going to add something random, but I only want it on this scene. So you see when I made that slash there, this was the first scene. This is the second scene. This is the third scene. This right here is the paid version. Let's say I pay for the paid version. I believe you might have access to a certain level of things, but it will export with the Descript watermark. I pay for the pro version, so I don't have to have the watermark, but I can take a look to see what other restrictions that they might have if you don't have the paid version. So I can just drag and drop this here to that second scene, and it will import. Ruth, this is what I'm talking about, that whole import thing. So if I were to export this as a XML file, everything in this project will be right here. It just puts everything together and it'll export it. So this would be part of that package as well if I were to take it into another editor. Putting it in a scene helps separate where you actually want it so it doesn't end up in your entire project. So it would have been over all of it instead of just in one place. Y'all can look through trial and error. If you have that issue and you want to control the timing of this particular GIF, you can go to layers and it automatically loops everything. So depending on how long the clip is, it will loop over and over again. If you wanted it to go once, you press once, and you can also slow it down with this particular duration situation. So, all right, I went from finding this clip in a video, taking it out, putting it into a new project for social media specifically. We've added captions and now a GIF. We can also add music and we can drag and drop. It will only add it into that particular scene, but you can spread it out. Just drag it to the beginning and you stretch it out to make sure everything's there. With this scene, you go to layer and you control the audio here. It has ducking, but control it by turning it down. First, I was like, I don't want to do English. And she's like, okay, so that's too loud. We lower that down. You can also press on your actual video, or if you have scenes, you'll want to shift to highlight all of them. You can increase your audio and you see the audio waves moving there. Increase your audio to make sure that the music doesn't overpower it. At first, I was like, I don't want to teach English. It's like, I teach Spanish. So with these updates, Descript is doing a lot and I'm thankful for it, but sometimes they're doing too much. I just added this thing called Smart Scenes. And to control that, you want to go to Scene and you'll see these smart transitions. So that's when it went out of the scene is going to end here. So these little breaks show me that it's going into a different scene. The transition we saw was on this GIF. I teach faded Spanish. Out. Sometimes I like just hard cuts or I like to control it. You click on whatever scene it is and you can just stop it. You can just press no. It's been cool for people who like that stuff, but sometimes I don't. So I want to control it. So wanted to show y'all that. Yes, ma'am.
Can you play that again? I just want to see what a smart transition looks like. I didn't catch it.
Okay, no problem. Let me turn them back on.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks for explaining the previous question. That was a thorough explanation. So I appreciate it.
My pleasure. So if you look at how, see if I can slow this down. Also, this is my best friend. I listen to almost everything as fast as I can understand. So it's like I teach. You see that it was like I teach a slow Spanish, fade in and a slow fade out. I teach Spanish.
Okay.
So sometimes I don't like that, so I just close them. So it would be like I teach Spanish. So that was a hard in and hard out, unless I wanted to actually animate it, which is another process. The animations in here can feel a little clunky.
For sure.
Okay. We got script, music, piece of graphic here. Ruth, this would be very interesting. I don't know if you've had trouble with this yet, but I almost pulled my hair out because I was having such issues with it. If your transcript acts weird, or it puts a word in a place that doesn't make sense, or just the reading is just interesting, the button, is it, which one is it? Okay, if you press Command and you go to the actual word down here, we can read and edit here, but when it comes to things lining up, sometimes it's not as precise as I would like it to be. It does a great job. Want to teach, right? Let's just say I messed up or whatever, and teach was over here. Anyway, press the command button. I have a Mac. Press the command button, so it might be something different if you get different. And you see that little icon, that little arrow bracket situation. When I press command, I can drag over the actual word to make it land in the proper place. That right there saved me a ton of time from just giving up on using the captions on here and having to put it in another program like CapCut. If anything is ever off inside of your timeline in terms of the timing of when the word shows up, you press that command button and just slide it over, because sometimes it can be a little bit iffy or doesn't land exactly where you want it to be. Is there anything else somebody would like to see if it can be done in here before I show you all to export? All right. If so, y'all just yell it out. That's fine. Okay. So this here just makes things smaller because I like to kind of see what all I
I
have.
actually do. I'm sorry.
What's up? No,
I have a quick question. Yeah. So I'm used to Final Cut or even Adobe Premiere where I'm just like Command C, I'm copying, Command P, or even Control C, P, I'm copy and pasting. And I found that here there's a little bit of a workaround, but I wanted to know what your process is for copying and pasting within the same timeline, just to see if we're doing it the same way or if you have a faster way.
What type of content are you copying and pasting?
Video
Okay.
content. And
So,
my setup looks the same as yours when
okay.
I'm editing.
I think that is clunky as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I think even with this, let's try. Sometimes I just try to hold down. That didn't work. So yeah, literally,
Yeah.
I will right click, copy,
Okay.
go to the place I want, and paste it. That's what I was talking about when it does the whole repeated thing for a GIF, and just stop it from looping on that one. So just press once, then move it where I want it to go. Sometimes it's just a right click copy pasting. I like when I can just hold down option and just drag it where I want to. It doesn't always work out in my favor.
Even sometimes when I do the clicking and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I still have to go up to file or edit, one of those, and I have to paste with attributes. It's a whole thing. And at first, it took me a while to even be able to copy something over down the timeline, but I'll stick with the clip for now.
Pluses and minuses, right? So let's see if we can copy this piece and put it somewhere else. Copy and paste it here, and I can use the audio as demonstration. But they're getting better with time. I think they're just working
Mhm.
out the kinks to make it even more user friendly. But yeah, sometimes you just get over how to manually do stuff. It's a different flow, but it helps me get my results faster, which is what I like, instead of just
For
having
sure.
to look and listen in other platforms.
When you create your highlights, do you use the prompt at all, or do you just let it generate whatever it thinks it's best on your within your video?
Yeah, I let it run. Sometimes it's for clients and stuff. So I'm just like, let's see what it comes
Okay.
up with. So the next step after you got everything that you wanted to for creating all that stuff, project files is where you'll see anything so you don't have to keep going to the stock area if you want to put this in there again. So everything that you downloaded is in a space here. So any stock footage that you download per project is in this project area. Anytime you start a brand new project, it will not have the same files. It creates its own files for each project. So that's why when I have a specific video, so this particular interview, I do all of my clips inside of here so I can have all of the same stock footage related to it. And then there's the scenes. If I did something specifically, you can change the scene itself or change the layout. So Descript has different layouts, and you can create your own layout as well. So if you like the way that so especially like for you, Ruth, right? If you like the way that you made a clip, you can come up here and you can save the scene. So if you get your colors and how things are straight and how you like how your captions are moving and you create a brand, save it as a new layout, and that's what it's going to do. So let's see, I have a layout for something that I've done before. It's in my drive. This one has like a gradient fade and just one word at a time. I can click this here, click inside of it again, and it will automatically change my layout. My gradient's a little weird because it put it on one scene and not all of them.
Wow, thank you so much for this. It's a game changer because so far the few videos that I have edited on Descript, I mean, I keep going back and every time I'm redoing these captions or like the layout. So knowing that I have the option of just saving that scene. Okay, I'll keep that. Thank you.
You save it and then you come
At
here.
first, I was
So what
like,
happened here is another thing that can happen. I added that layout to the third scene. So what you can do is if that happens, so if you look in the first scene, it has the first captions that I had in it. But then when you
I
go here, It's the latter. So I can go here, bring my captions to the third scene, and then stretch them back out, and then
Wow.
it will change it.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So now it's fixed. So anything that's there, just bring it over and let it communicate that this is how I want it, and then I show. But you can also cut it and have different types of captions. If I use my B tool, the blade tool, I can cut this here, press A, and then if I wanted these captions to be different, I can go to layer and I can change anything about it. I can change the style and I can say I want this to be karaoke. This is independent of the other ones. So
I don't want to teach English. It's like I teach Spanish,
completely
so
different. If I wanted to change the text or whatever, you can do that. Okay. So that's the scene. I have my own scenes for quite a few projects that I have for clients, and I'm just like, boom, that's how we like it. We find the clip and we keep going. In the gallery, Descript has a lot of stuff in there too that you can see what's going on and manipulate that. I use a lot of just basic stuff, to be honest. Of course, I showed you layers, kind of go through a lot of things here. Elements that you can add, shapes. If I wanted to add just a black screen or something, I just add this here and change the color. Then I can change it to black if I wanted to. If I didn't want it in the front, right click, select layer order and send it back. That didn't do anything for this particular purpose, but if I wanted something like that, I can bring it back to the top and add a title. I can do that and just minimize it. So the reason why it's that long, because that's the entire scene. So if I just want it here, I can just make it shorter. Add the title here. If I wanted to make an animation, you can have an animation down here. Change it to in. You can do in like a fade or something like that. Play it.
so I had
So yeah, if you need intro screens or something,
Spanish, so I had no
you can
idea.
have that there. Then you can make this smaller, of course. All right. So Elements has a number of different things: scenes, camera, markers, lines, annotations. If you wanted to highlight something, frames, captions. But yeah, so let's just say I want to export this. Options we have is, like I said before, straight to a link on the online. If you don't need it, download it. You can just, so like I did this for, this replaces things like Loom for me. So if I just need to send a quick video and I don't need to download it or upload it to YouTube, this is a replacement for Loom. I still like Loom, but Descript has it and I pay for it. So well, I pay for more stuff. Local export, if you just want to download it, and then it can send it to all these different places. Resolution, you have the opportunity. If you are stuck and it only lets you do something like 70p, that's when I said go over here, go to other, and make sure that you have the opportunity for it to go as high as you need it to go. But we know for social media, you just download it 1080 if everything is all good to go. Audio only if you wanted to. If I just wanted a GIF, let's just say I've never downloaded a GIF before. Let's try it. So I'm going to go to this layer. I'm going to hide the captions. Another thing that you can do is choosing the export is download just specific scenes. Let's just say I'm making a scene by adding that slash and closing the scene there.
I could even
I'm smiling or whatever. So scene 4, export, GIF. This is the current composition, but we want to go to the current scene. If you didn't want to break up your project and you just wanted to do it scene by scene, you can do that. It even says line breaks. That's cool. I'll do current scene. You can change the actual size if you wanted to. Oh, okay, export. Change the name if you want to. Save it to downloads. And it does a pretty good job. Timeline, we spoke about that before. Let's see if I can see this. Did it do? Where is my, I got too many windows open. Okay. Okay, that's a GIF. I've seen people use that in use cases for adding it to their social media, adding it to YouTube to highlight a video coming next, stuff like that. Just little clips they can use for your stories and things. Timeline, if you want to go and do more fancy stuff in other programs, you have that option. I always take my transcript on ChatGPT to get captions or other ideas that can repurpose. You can do it in plain text. I usually just have it plain text and copy from here. But if you want something download it, you have those opportunities here. Subtitles are typically always baked in. So like you do upload it to YouTube, it's usually already baked in and they don't have issues grabbing that stuff for your YouTube stuff. But yeah, that was the long and short of Descript and why I like it so much, because the main thing is the text-based editing. I can read and scan what I actually want and make sure it is impactful. And then the fact that all I need to make a decent video is inside of it. A lot of us don't have the time to be doing all of the fancy things, but if you just want a nice clean edit, this is what I use it for. I just want to come out here, share some information, share some knowledge. It's not a tool for everybody. I've recommended this to people and they hated it or they just didn't like it or they didn't have the patience to kind of take their time with it to see the value. And that's fine. Every tool is not for everybody. There's certain tools that I don't like and I refuse to use or transition to, such as DaVinci Resolve right now. I'm not trying to move to DaVinci Resolve. I don't want to learn how to manipulate another program, even if it does have awesome color grading.
I appreciate you taking the time to help us out. This is great content, great information. And the reason why I don't have any more questions is because you answered them all and you're very thorough and concise with your answers. So thank you for that. And I look forward to the other calls.
It's my distinct honor and pleasure. I appreciate y'all for coming on this night, this evening, this day, wherever you are in the world. I'll check y'all next time. We'll see ya.